Good evening, neighbors and saints. An exhortation on the faith called Jehovah's Witnesses. A few times in the past few months, they've been coming by wanting to speak about their faith and the intricacies of it. And I've with joy, engaged them in their beliefs. And we've gone back and forth about how Scripture doesn't actually back up what they're saying, and what they tend to do is have changed the translation or have a war of words. And in Scripture, it very much warns us about that. It's not the letter of the word that matters. It's the spirit of the word that matters. And like I would always tell them, you say tomato, I say tomato, it's still what it is, a piece of fruit. So, don't argue about the letter of the word, but that's what they want to do. And they do that to try and turn you over to their point of view about things, with the argument that things were lost in translation or weren't translated correctly. And we all know, we all have a conscience, and we're all responsible for and going to be held account by God to our level of discernment and to our effort into being a spirit of discernment. And the key to understanding the scriptures is to ask God for understanding. If you pray and ask God to help you understand what He's trying to convey to you, He will do it. All right, let us begin. Then heaven has become Mount Olympus for the sake of creation, and God is not one, but many acting in accordance to one, to the glory of one, yet all having a portion in His glory, to which He has said, I will not share my glory. 2 Corinthians 3, verse 1. Are we beginning to commend ourselves again? Or do we need, as some do, letters of recommendation to you, or from you? You yourselves are our letter of recommendation, written on our hearts, to be known and read by all. And you show that you are a letter from Christ, delivered by us, written not with ink, but with the Spirit of the living God, not on tablets of stone, but on tablets of human hearts, such as the confidence that we have through Christ toward God, that we are sufficient in ourselves to claim anything as coming from us, but our sufficiency is from God, who has made us competent to be ministers of a new covenant, not of the letter, but of the Spirit. For the letter kills, but the Spirit gives life. Now if the ministry of death, carved in letters on stone, came with such glory that the Israelites could not gaze at Moses' face because of its glory, which was being brought to an end, will not the ministry of the Spirit have even more glory? For if there was glory in the ministry of condemnation, the ministry of righteousness must far exceed it in glory. Indeed, in this case, what once had glory has come to have no glory at all, because of the glory that surpasses it. For if what was being brought to an end came with much glory, much more will what is permanent have glory. Since we have such a hope, we are very bold, not like Moses, who would put a veil over his face, so that the Israelites might not gaze at the outcome of what was being brought to an end, but their minds were hardened. For to this day, when they read the old covenant, that same veil remains unlifted, because only through Christ is it taken away. Yes, to this day, whenever Moses is read, a veil lies over their hearts. But when one turns to the Lord, the veil is removed. Now the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. And we all, with unveiled face, beholding the glory of the Lord, are being transformed into the same image from one degree of glory to another. For this comes from the Lord, who is the Spirit. Now, right here, Paul is stating that it's the spirit of the word that matters. And in the letter of the word, no one can adhere to. Like I say many times to people who want to quote scripture to me and give me chapters and verses, and in this book said this, and I say to them, I say, look, Jesus said, if your eye causes you to sin, pluck it out. How's your vision? You know what I mean? Because we all sin. But if the only way we can keep from sinning in this body is to cut everything off, is to destroy this body. This body is full of sin, and we're at odds with God. We were born that way. People tell you that people are inherently born good. That's a lie. People are inherently born evil. All right, that we are at enmity with God from birth. All right, we have to be made right. That's why Jesus came and died for us. Okay? Now, don't let anybody fool you. No one can adhere to the letter of the word. All right? No one. That's why Jesus came and died on the cross. 2 Corinthians 4. Therefore,